If you guys want one-on-one training, online training, or nutritional coaching, please head on over to my website, jpfitnesspro.com. Just go to the services tab and select which one you would like. You can also subscribe to my newsletter and contact me through my website as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks.
What is up, everybody? This is JP. First things first, I didn't do it last video. I'm still continuing on the little fact about me. And this is a fact that a lot of you actually do know, but some of you may not know at all. And I feel like it's, someone asked me why I don't bring this up or point this out more in my videos, but I just don't. But I definitely, I don't bring it up on purpose, but when it does come up, I'm pretty strong on my stance on this. I don't want vegans to think that I just avoid the topic. You know, it's just never, you know, that's not what my channel is aimed towards, but I'm very strong on my stance. But for those of you who don't know, I am vegan. I've been vegan for about 4 years. I'm vegan for morality issues, first and foremost, but I'm also vegan for health, obviously. But I don't usually like talking about the health reason too, because personally, I don't care what you do as an individual. If you want to be healthy, you can be an unhealthy vegan. But I just think that the morality issue is a much more, it's a much more important topic to me. But for those of you who don't know, you know now, and a lot of you do know because you came over from the Vegan Gains channel. But today's video is going to be about constant tension and keeping constant tension on a muscle. And you may have heard people say it is that they cut range of motion really short because they want to keep constant tension on the muscle. Now, there's not a ton of evidence to support this, but there is one study that actually did show that constant tension was superior, or a shorter range of motion with constant tension was superior to full range of motion without constant tension. And it was specifically on a barbell triceps extension. So the study just called it a barbell triceps extension, but I'm assuming that's just, it's just a skull crusher. You could probably do it different ways, but it's just a skull crusher, lying down on a bench and you're doing it. So one group did the tricep extensions from a full range of motion, 120 degrees, all the way up. And then the other group did it 45 degrees to 90 degrees. So I'm assuming it was something like, from here, it was probably from here to here, something about that. So it was much shorter. And then the other group again was full range of motion. So one group did it a very large range of motion. Again, it was all the way back, all the way up, full. And then the other group, it was just from 45 degrees to 90 degrees. So it was much smaller, that mid-point range of motion. And the group that did the partial range of motion actually made almost double the gains in triceps hypertrophy versus the group that did the full range of motion. Now, there were some caveats in the study, like one of them, for example, was that the triceps hypertrophy, the amount that the subjects gained was estimated. It wasn't like, I don't think it was a direct measurement. It wasn't an estimated growth, but again, there were other caveats to the study. So the study wasn't absolutely super perfect, but it was a pretty reliable study. This was covered in mass as well. I always talk about mass, so definitely check that out. But the point of this video is that if there's a certain exercise, specifically isolation exercises or exercises that put the muscle in part of the range of motion where it doesn't have any tension on it, where you're essentially just kind of like sitting there, especially for a while, and you're not really having any tension on that muscle, then you may see some benefits from kind of changing that range of motion a little bit, cutting a little bit off the top or cutting a little bit off the bottom to keep constant tension on that muscle, and you could potentially make better gains. Now, this doesn't excuse cutting the range of motion too short. So I know some people will quote unquote quarter squat and they say it's constant tension, bro, right? That's not the goal here. I don't think that if you're cutting range of motion short on everything, you have to remember that technical work is force times displacement. So if you're doing less work and you're cutting less work out, and you may potentially be losing gains in that sort of sense. And you also have to think about joint ranges of motion. Like if you're doing quarter squats and you're not going past parallel, you're not taking that joint through a biomechanically disadvantageous position, because when you're going past parallel, that's technically where the moment arm is longest in regards to depending on what you're looking at, either the knee or the hip. But that's where it's going to be hardest at mechanistically. So if you're always cutting range of motion short, depending on the exercise, you could actually be hurting yourself. But in specific exercises like the skull crusher or a lateral raise, for example, where if you're doing a dumbbell lateral raise and it's straight down from your side, this initial range of motion, you could probably sit here and swing the dumbbell left and right, left and right, left and right all day, and you won't ever feel anything. If you cut that bottom range of motion out of, like, let's just say a lateral raise, you could potentially make more gains in that sort of sense. So the whole point of this is that if you're going to apply constant tension, there is some evidence that supports constant tension. Shorter range of motion might be superior for hypertrophy versus full range of motion if the set exercises full range of motion is putting you through ranges of motion where you're not really doing anything, where you're just kind of sitting there. So, like, again, the lateral raise is a good example. So if you're going to apply this, make sure you're applying it to the shorter range of motion and constant tension to correct exercise. And two, make sure you're not cutting the range of motion too short. If you're moving the bar or the resistance this far, it's saying, oh, it's constant tension, I'm going to make crazier gains. That might not be the case. Just chop off the ranges of motion, the endpoints, where that's actually, you're not doing anything. Again, like a lateral raise, just chop off this portion right here and just do this top portion. And then also too, you may want to do, if you're going to do the exercise, like a lateral raise or something that you want to apply this to, maybe do the first couple sets full range of motion and then do the last 2 sets with that constant pump or full range of motion, so you can take advantage of that. So you're kind of getting the benefits of both. If you guys have any questions on which exercises you think that this would be good on, you can comment down below and I'll give you guys some feedback if you want to try it on an exercise. Again, you could do this with squats. You could do this potentially with anything. It just depends on how you want to apply it. But if you guys have any questions on what you guys want to try this on, if you're going to, let me know, and I'll give you guys some feedback on that. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.